Okay, here we go.
So Chrisean sat down with Jason Lee and did an interview. Now, if you want to see that interview, you need to go around there to the Zeus app and watch the Jason Lee show. But if you ain't watched it, can't watch it, don't want to watch it, or want to know what happened when I watched it, child, you in the right place. So when she first sat down, they started talking about the tooth and the location of the tooth. She said the tooth is at Blueface house, that she left it on the counter somewhere, but she still got the gate code, the house code, and that's still her spot. He just got her messed up right now. Then Jason asked her about her transition to God and her godly ways. And she said, it happened from her being in jail alone with nothing but the Bible. And then they spoke about the probation and it being in Baltimore versus LA. She said that when she got arrested down at the courthouse, she believes she got arrested because she was set up because the previous court hearing, she came with the baby and the judge called her to the front, and so she feels since she got all that love, she was the only one, that she was set up next time she went back. She also said that she did some therapy classes in jail, which I thought was good, and she said she was fasting and praying, and of course she spoke on the tattoo. Child, she said that she gonna do that on kick, that she got 6 tattoos. She no longer have 7, but But now let's get into some tea, because they brought up Figgy, and come to find out, girl, Figgy didn't. He had reached out to Jason, and then he blocked Jason. Cause I guess he wanted to come spill the tea. Remember, I told you, he said, when they come with that money on, he was ready to speak. Now, Chrisean say she little boyed him, and he was getting texts from other girls, that she got a text from another girl about him. Y'all know that little story behind that. And she also said that he was fanned out. Girl, we know that. Come to find out, she met him at the mall with his friends, and she was telling, that's how she met him, at the mall. And I guess they were talking about streaming and networking, and then one of the boys tried to get her number. Now, if you watch my channel, you already seen that Figgy was reposting Blueface and Chrisean way back in the day, so we know he been a fan. So she spoke on Blueface. She said that when she leave, she always leave the door open. Child, y'all need to nail that door shut. Now, then they begin to talk about her and Jaden, her meeting up with Jaden. And so she retold that story. She was talking about K Suave, and she said, her and K Suave used to just kiss and cuddle. And they brought up when Blueface kidnapped the baby, he was drunk and he wanted her. So the best thing to get to her was through the baby. Then why Jason Lee brought up Marsh and was like, yeah, your friend that betrayed you. Why Jason Lee compared Marsh to Selena? Girl, I couldn't believe that when he said that. But anywho, they talking about the kidnapping story because they trying to get back to how her and Jaden had met up. So she said when he had the baby, she faked and told him that she had called the police. So she was telling him, like, we need to get out of here because the police is coming. So she went to go drop him off at his house. But when he went to get out, she said she gave the baby to him, and Jaden came outside, like she was ready to fight. But then she was kind of confused because Blueface was holding the baby. So she like, yeah, like, this is what we on. So Chrisean says she called her sister to come get the Blueface, to come get the Blueface. She called her sister to come get the baby, and her, Jaden, and Blueface was all in the house, and Blueface was talking about his plan. Child, I guess he was planning the big circus, the ultimate circus. But she said she told him that she not in that poly stuff because previously Jaden and Jiggy and Blueface, child, they was all in a relationship together. So she said they was all in the studio hashing it out. She said she feel like Blueface and Jaden, like they're homies because they grew up together, and Jaden was mad because Blueface and Chrisean was gonna leave to go and get the baby, and Jaden was looking like she wanted to cry on the couch. And Chrisean said she had a little soft spot for Jaden, so she decided that her and Jaden would go get the baby, and they left Blueface at the house, and she was telling Jaden all her business and how she had just iced out K-Swab. Remember, Blueface was mad that she had brought him a chain. So she was letting Jaden know that, she wasn't tripping over Blueface. She say she gave Jaden a house tour. She was showing her where she live at, her bedroom. She was showing her the Bentley truck. And when it was time to leave, she said that Jaden seemed like she didn't want to leave. And they was sympathizing with Jaden because they knew that when she got back to the house that he was going to beat her. So Blueface was telling Jaden how she's dumb. This is when she out with Chrisean, how she dumb, and she let Chrisean trick her out her spot. So that's when, she didn't tell this part of the story, but just to fill y'all in, that's when her and Jaden was there at the house, busting up the house once they went back to the house. So then they brought up Tesehki and how Ty Leo was clip forming when he said the little thing about you can't beat Tesehki. And they was talking about how her and Tesehki had the same hairstyle when Tesehki was there. And girl, they looking like twins. So she, Chrisean was being messy. And she said that when they was younger, Tesehki used to get mad and call them crack babies, and said that she needed her perks and that, she would get moody and she would act a certain way. I said, ooh, not her trying to, drop that little tea that Tesehki was allegedly doing perks. So she said that Tesehki used to be stripping and that her man was a drug dealer. So they wasn't struggling when they was living with Tesehki, but Tesehki had got mad because she had on some pants, or Petey had on some pants, and Tesehki thought they was her man pants, but they really wasn't. So anyhow, she was calling them crack babies and all of that. So then they jumped to the Sprinter van when Chrisean was pregnant, and they talked about that. She said she don't know what drug Tesehki was on, but she was on something, and how Tesehki took the GoPros, and Chrisean felt like Tesehki would have really tried to fight her when she was pregnant, and how Marsh and Jay, they were scared to fight her, but they still fought Tesehki. Girl, then they brought up Ronnie. I was waiting on that part. So she say Ronnie was acting like that because she cut him off, that used to be her supplier. So she said the last time that they was intimate was back in the college days. I said, oh, okay, girl. And that she had cut him off. When she cut him all the way off, where she stopped buying from him, that's when he started doing the clout chasing. And she said that Ronnie saw Blueface running a circus, so Ronnie started trying to run a circus of his own, and Ronnie ran himself into a grave. I said, ooh, girl, now why you say that? You always talking about this clip for me. They about to clip that one up right there. So she said that his passing had nothing to do with her, that he had beef with people in the street because of what he was doing. And when he seen her at the mall, that was a little clout chase thing because he didn't have nothing no recent videos of her. So, he had to get a video of her. So that's why he was at the mall. That he was basically, he was doing it for clout. Now, she did mention again that, Ronnie family would make a better fit if the baby was his, because he has his grandmother, his mother, his sisters, the aunts, and how everybody worshipped Ronnie. But she said that his auntie, the one that's been out here popping it, she said when she went on the Danza interview down in Miami, she had spoke on Ronnie, and the auntie had got at her and told her to quit speaking on Ronnie. I said, damn, auntie bald, I ain't mad at her. So anyway, they started talking about the Tesehki interview again. And she said that Tesehki interview was boring, so she had to mention her, and that's why she brought up the Ronnie situation. Because remember, Tesehki kind of dilly-dally around that Chrisean had something to do with Ronnie's passing. Now, of course, they brought up the child-on-child essay allegations between her and Tesehki. Chrisean said, she feel like Tesehki is too embarrassed to just admit her wrongdoing, or she's lied to herself so much that she's forgotten. But Chrisean said that, child-on-child essay is kind of innocent because no adults are around, and that it's a thing with families. Unfortunately, that family is plagued with all types of abuse. So they brought up Jay, her friend Janet, a little bit more tea. So he showed her a card and she was like, Jason, I don't want to answer the question. Like, what's the question? The whole little thing with the card. So come to find out, it was a question about Cardi B, which I kind of had a feeling that it was. But she said that she did not sleep with Offset, that was something that Blueface started, and Cardi B responded to it by saying she don't know if it's true, but Chrisean did say she loved Cardi B. So then they talked about the red carpet situation, how she was kicked off because she didn't have the right attire, and how the lady cat came from nowhere and gave her the option of dresses to choose from, and she picked the red one, and how she had to calm Ray J down because he got kicked off too because he wasn't dressed properly. So then he gave her some gifts for her and Junior. One of them was like a pillow Bible. And she said she gonna put that inside of her Maybach truck, but she got to get the Maybach truck. She got to purchase it on Kick. Child, Kick, we gonna need y'all to come on through so we can see that truck getting purchased. So then they brought up Blueface again, and Jason asked her, when he come home, will they be together? It's going to be the Blueface and Chrisean show. And Chrisean said she going to let him figure it out, that she feel like he's going to come and find her, but she just want to mind her business and worry about herself and not care. Now, Jason say he fell out with Tamar Braxton over her. So they brought up that situation again. And Chrisean say she felt like Tamar had set her up, that they just brought her out there, for exposure for themselves. And that they told her that she was going to perform her son, gave her a microphone, but she didn't perform. So basically she said she felt like they was playing in her face. Even Toni Braxton, when she went to go hold her hand, how she took her hand away, she said she just felt like it was a clout setup. Now, Chrisean did say that she has a therapist. She said, Dr. Brian, that she gonna start doing therapy with her, and that she also do therapy with Arissa. But in so many words, Chrisean said if somebody ain't trying to change, then ain't no amount of talking gonna get that person to change. Now, Jason let her know that he was a Leo, and she's like, oh, I love Leos, and how she get along with Leos. And I just kept on laughing to myself like, I wonder, do she realize Karlissa is a Leo? So Jason then goes on to ask Chrisean about Jaden, and she like, who? And he like, Jaden. So Chrisean says, I don't associate myself with her. She keep trying to stick herself to me. Child, she said Jaden was hiding at the award shows, and Jason Lee said it was a whole thing to keep them from, running into each other, that they didn't want them to see each other, because if they fight at the award show, they get banned, like Karlissa, because Karlissa was trying to fight Claudia Jordan in the bathroom, so she's banned from the award show. Now, Chrisean said Jaden has her dick stuck up her ass, and that she's stuck on stupid, and that she's hurt, and that she tried to apologize to them, but they clowned her. Chrisean says she is the it girl, and Jaden is in her shadow. Now, Jason also asked Chrisean, should he unban Karlissa? And Chrisean said no. So Karlissa, unfortunately, you still banned. Then they brought up Blueface again. And Jason said, Blueface done gained some weight. Like, you need to have him on that workout plan. And Chrisean said it's because he in there smoking that ish. And she started getting into that again. Said it's spice, and he spread on paper, and that's why he tattooed his face all up. And he asked her, like, what's on his face? And she said Chrisean, but she don't know what the other stuff is. So they also went over her to-do list or goal list or whatever she was calling the list. And Jason Lee mentioned that he had Tyler Perry's number, and that, maybe he can link the two and get a little EP credit. And he asked her, like, why do you want to get Blueface chains out the pawn shop? And she said she want to do something nice for him. I'm like, girl. Then things took a turn, because Jason asked her, did you try to get Blueface off? And she like, no, you believe that? And he was like, well, you are from B-More. He said, one time I was in B-More and they tried to sell him some inside of the I guess the Uber or the cab or whatever. So she said that was something that Wack made up because she pulled Blueface away from him. They were making money together. She said all she cared is that he provided somewhere for her to eat and sleep, and she gave him all the money, and Wack wanted in, and since he couldn't get in, he tried to F it all up. Now she said if Blue tried to troll her, he's just a demon and he need to jump off a cliff and make everybody's life easier. I said, girl, you just went from trying to do something nice to telling him to jump off a cliff. And she said that one of the problems that she made is that she sat down for 2 years and everybody felt like she fell off, but she didn't fall off. She took off. And Wack and Blue are going to be her and Kim's footstools. So then he asked her, would she go back to Zeus? And she said that, she talked to Lemmy and that she would go back if it's something positive. He asked her, would she sit down and have a convo with Tesehki? And she's like, maybe in a boxing ring or something. And that on probation, they told her that she need to get a new occupation because she can't be fighting. And they played Smash or Pass. So let's get into that. Quavo, pass, brother vibes. Kai Cenat, pass, great spirit, not her type. DDG, pass. She had a little look on her face, but she said that's bro. NLE Chopper, pass. She said he funny, he a kid that Blueface, put him on the map. Kaylani, pass. She said she is not gay, but they do work out together. Aiden Ross, pass. She said that's Aiden, they're not each other's types. Drake, pass. She said he's cool. He follows her. Michael B. Jordan, she said smash. I said, okay, girl. Justin Combs, pass. She said that's bro. She loved all the Combs. Pray for Diddy. She hopes he get off. Jason told her to let it go, basically stop speaking on it. And she's like, wow, that's going to get me canceled. Basically, she felt like Diddy is innocent. So then they put a picture of Trayvon Diggs, and child, she started spilling a little tea on him. She said that when she was sounded like she was about to say 16, and he was in college, he tried to smash, but right now, she would only have a little kiki with him, and that they ran into each other in Miami, and they brought up the situation, and she wanted Jason to take that part of the interview out because she's like, she don't want to have no beef with him. Then they brought up the 12 kids again. And Jason like, 12 kids? Like, you already lived that. So she said maybe 7 kids. Jason's like, you going to be in a minivan. She like, I don't care. I'll have a strong man. I'm not going to have 7 baby daddies. And he's like, ooh, I can imagine you and Blueface with 7 kids. He said that would be like a Brady Bunch. So then they played a game called Name Drop, and he put up pictures. First picture he put up was India Love. She said, beautiful. Then they put a picture of Tesehki, and she did a little laugh, and then she said, I love you, dog. I can tell deep down inside, Chrisean really does love her sister, but I feel like she's scared of her. Then they put a picture of Karlissa. Child, she said, demon. She said she's a demon, and she birthed a demon. Then Blueface dad, she said that's Pops. He cool. Jason said Blueface always finds a way to go viral, even from the behind the wall, because they start talking about how the dad had put the stuff out and videotaped it and all of that stuff. Then they put Tia Kemp. And she said Tia Kemp missed out on her 20s and that she's trying to siphon the energy from the youth. She said she ain't nobody auntie, that she's weird, and that she spoke on Junior before and said that Chrisean need to post a picture of him holding a cup. And after that, her son got stabbed the F up. And she said, I didn't say nothing about that. Then they put a picture of Sexy Red up, and she said she likes Sexy. Sexy is realist-ish, and that she glad that she became famous. He asked her would they do F they baby daddy. sung together, and she said they already did, and you know, she didn't have nothing to do with, she didn't clear the release, and it's already been released, and she don't care about that no more. But she said she's not doing secular music anymore, that she only doing gospel music, F everything else. And Jason like, saying you only doing gospel music and F everything else in the same sentence is crazy. So Jason Lee goes on to say that, you know, she's a star and stars can't be made, but they can be pushed to superstardom. And he see that for her, that she's created a community, and that Chrisean has been very vulnerable and has shown everything. And Chrisean said Blue hate her right now, and it's because she's outside, and that Blueface is gonna make her feel it, and he's gonna get his lick back. And Jason Lee said, and then you gonna get your lick back, and then y'all gonna be licking together. But Chrisean really feel like Blueface gonna ish on her, which we pretty much know that that's what's gonna happen. But overall, I enjoyed the interview, and I think it's because I like Jason Lee. I like them together. I like the energy they bring. And this was like really watching two friends meet up and catch up, because everything that they talked about, child, we been talking about it. It was little tidbits of tea dropped here and there, but overall, like I said in the beginning, if you want to watch the interview yourself, you're gonna have to go over to Zeus Network and watch it on the Jason Lee Show. And yeah, I just wanted to share this with my homegirls, because some of y'all don't want to watch it, ain't gonna watch it, can't watch it, or you want to hear my thoughts about it. But whatever the case, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Make a psycho, make a traffic psycho.